My brethren, and you know it, we back. What does it mean to stay out your feelings? Hopefully a woman ain't telling you this, but if a man tells you this as a man to stay out your feelings, what does that mean? What areas is that to be applied to? And is it something that's actually feasible? What does the word have to say about that? Now we're gonna get into all that in this lesson, yeah. But first, roll that intro.
Pull up with the stick, yeah. She said she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't want a man, she want a gummy bear.
Now for me, when I think about a situation that covers being in your feelings as a man, being emotionally led, pretty much all the hood movies come to mind. You think of Kane and Menace to Society. He's somewhat impulsive. Old Dog, definitely. That man don't think at all. But the biggest one that I grew up with was Baby Boy. And the title in and of itself is very telling. Now in the beginning of the movie, they did a good job taking clip notes of an actual college lesson that was given around the Baby Boy syndrome. They didn't really go deep into detail. So let me finish that. As a man, and more so as a melanated man, right? When you come home from work, right? You see, I've been out all day working for the man. Now who is the man? The man is the white man, the one who owns the plantation, the one who owns the job. The boss that your wife got you a job with. That guy. And when you watch a lot of the shows like Good Times and a lot of these shows that are black comedy shows, they always talk about the man, and we never equate the man with the man who is black. So since that role has already been taken, you can't have two the men. It's just one of the man. Well, what's the next role? The woman. And contrary to popular belief, back then that was not a role that we as black or melanated men wanted to ever play. Now they've snuck it in through satire, comedy, movies, videos. None of these things, when you seen these masculine looking men dress up like women, it never was really that funny. Big Mama's House wasn't really that funny. Jimmy Fox dressing up, that wasn't that funny. Kevin Hart dressing up, wasn't that funny. Ving Rhames dressing up, Holiday, that wasn't, come on bro. It's like now when we see these guys in masculine roles and they, are supposed to be what they call a man's man. We spoke on that last video. All I can see is them in drag. There's a reason why they do that. So, though it may be accepted today for a man, and more specifically, a melanated man to dress like a woman, this was never a role that we traditionally embraced. Our women love it. They'll say that they don't, but they support it. They go out to the clubs with their gay friends. If their son come home and say he wants to put on a dress, the mother is more inclined to say, okay, babe, you're so brave. And she's more inclined to give in than if they had a dad in the home. He ain't going for that. You're not going to do that in this roof. And the dad ain't got to be all the way there with the Most High. But he there enough to know that you ain't about to be walking around in here in no dress. So black women, they really promote and push this agenda a lot. But since we will not accept the role as a woman, then in a family you have only two other roles left. You can be the baby girl or you can be the baby boy. Because you have the man, the woman, and the children. And in the idyllic marriage in this country, it was always a man, woman, and kids, normally resulting in a male child and a female child. And again, I've already told you that we didn't want to do anything feminine. So being a little girl was out of the question. Now it's in the question. You have these kids now wanting to identify as a different gender. You see how they started with us? They first started when they got rid of the man position. Then as black men, we can only be the woman. Then they slowly introduced that into our mind frame. So then you've seen a rise of black men doing zesty behavior. Then it wasn't done. They said, well, we got to get the children now. So now you see all kids out here, like the Target scandal and a whole bunch of different things. Gracie's Corner just had an episode where there was a tranny, I believe, up there.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
But again, we don't want to be no tranny little girl. So the only position left is to be the boy, the baby boy. And this is what Tyrese finds himself in playing as. Well, your mother is your mama, but she's also your woman. You call your woman mama or la mama. We do this where I come from all the time. You with your homies, y'all hang out at the crib where babies rest their head. And throughout the entire movie, there is no strong manly presence from the jump for Tyrese. There's no dad. He had an older brother who it seems like he looked up to, but then he's killed, taken out by the confines of the hood. And then you have an ex-con, Melvin, who's coming in. And we know that whole dynamic. But Melvin says something that's very, very prolific. He tells him, see, you want your mama to be your mama and your woman. And that's what happens. These same women who raise these grown man-childs, or man-children rather, with all these effeminate ways, they're very impulsive, highly emotional, given over to a lot of wrath, can swap and switch their mood, indecisive, lack of committing. They can't commit because they can't decide what to commit to. These are normally traits we associate with a woman, and they're bad enough on our female counterparts, but when it's on a man, it's just, nobody likes them, both men and women. No one likes it. But these same women will raise these men up to be just like that, and then turn around and tell you the only reason they're masculine is because there is no masculine men. But you just help create the problem, and you help continue the problem because your son is now going to come out here and be the exact thing that you say you hate. A feminine man with womanly ways. So unless that woman has enough wisdom and sense to put this young male child in front of a man, while you still have time, he is going to go out there and be exactly what you say you don't like. He is going to go out there and be the exact reason that you say you cannot be feminine, because he's not masculine. You cannot teach him, the women cannot teach him to be something they're not. And this is the issue that his mother is running into. She's constantly telling him, Jody, you got to get it together. I can't do it any longer. She realizes this, but now it's too late. It's too late. He's a grown baby boy. He ain't a grown man. He's a grown baby boy. You see this man out here riding a bike with them kids behind him looking like a sucker? Going from crib to crib. None of it is his. The car ain't in his name. Like a sucker. But this is what a lot of women are dealing with. And they'll acknowledge that they don't like it, so they say. They won't acknowledge the fact that you are a big part of the problem. And it used to be that, oh, it's because the man ain't around. But I've seen videos since the 80s where women have said, I want to be a single mom.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility. And then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. Male figures are not substantially important in the family.
25 years ago, you would not have heard such things said so freely because they were not embraced so widely. The strong family was still the backbone of Black America, and 3 out of 4 children had both parents at home. That is true no longer. Most Black children are now growing up without their fathers. Clorinda said she could make it on her own as a single parent. She has never been married and is raising her daughter without a man's help. She's not unusual. Today, nearly 60% of all Black children are born out of wedlock.
I don't need a man to help me take care of and raise these little boys up. They believe the lie. Then all throughout the 80s and the 90s, we see a spike in murders and incarceration rates, like that woman pointed out in the last video prior to this. So today we see our fathers, us as men, wanting to take our homes back after realizing and waking up out of our stupor, which made us stupid, only to get to the world stage and then have to fight with the woman that came from us, all while the child is given over to heaven knows what. This is the baby boy syndrome. And all this deals with a man who is given unto his emotions. So again, back to staying out your feelings, men. Now when I say that, I'm not saying that you're not to have feelings. You can't stay out of a pool that does not exist. You can't get out of the waters that you never had access to. Your feelings are there, and they're there for a reason. And it's really not about you controlling your feelings. It's more about you not allowing your feelings to control you. If you can sum up the idealism of staying out your feelings, that's really what it is. Not so much as you controlling your emotions or your feelings. It's mainly you not allowing your feelings or your emotions to control you. Proverbs chapter 16:32 says, "Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city." Alright. Now growing up, I realized coming out of Babylon that everything that we thought was masculine really was not. You got these guys in the street that, they look very convincing and machismo and braggadocious, very manly. But when you look at how they respond, or rather how they react to situations, you're like a woman, bro. You fly off the handles. You out here hooting, hollering, and yelling, and you just a woman in man form. And that word says whoever is slow to anger, that's a feeling. That's an emotion, just energy and motion. That's all it means. Is better than the mighty. So he's better than the man with the guns in the street and all that, you understand me? And he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. Come on, man. So I don't care what you was out in the street doing. I don't care how many people you was smacking out. If you was acting out in order for you to start smacking out, you wasn't manly, you was very feminine. Very. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26 through 27, we read, "Be angry, but do not sin. And do not let the sun go down on your anger, and give no opportunity to the devil." Because see, the devil's going to play on your emotions, and that's how we know emotions are a lie. This is why I don't trust women. Not because I think they are just liars. No, I don't trust them because I don't trust what they're led by. And they're led by their emotions, and your emotions lie to you because the devil is the first liar, and he's going to use that to manipulate you. Road rage. Somebody cut you off and your emotions tell you that they seen you and they did it maliciously, so you rear end them, bow, get out the car and get your gun and then shoot them, Off the emotions that lied to you. Where I come from, people die because somebody's shoes got stepped on. The emotions get triggered in a person and they think that, oh, he just stepped on my shoe because he tested me. So you go ahead and kill a young dude. Do not be given into your emotion and then be given unto the devil as a result. This is the issue that our women are finding themselves in, have been finding themselves in, and then you have our men right behind them, probably leading the charge now. This is why we see, again, an increase in murders all throughout cities, urban cities at that, all over. So these men are not imbalanced, being raised by a woman, like Pac said. When I grew up, I thought Pac was the most manliest thug in the street. Pac had a lot of effeminate ways, bro. Pac didn't get his way, he'd spit out the window, flick you off, hoot, holler, yell like a woman. But Pac told you, he got his game from his woman and his name from a woman. He told you, damn, you ain't get nothing from your daddy, bro? Your mama taught you how to love a woman? These are all things that Pac said out his mouth. So why the ladies love that feminine thugism in him, getting and coming from Babylon, this is what they put on us young boys to be like. That ain't manly though, bro. Flying off the handles of the MGM Grand, the incident that allegedly got him killed, was very emotional. Very emotional. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 11. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. You know what that sound like to me? Pillow talking. Yeah, stop. Don't do it. Just don't. Where I come from, man, people have died, lost their lives, been robbed, set up, a lot of times wrongly, because of pillow talk. Well, I just think that he could really give me more, cuz. And then here go the woman. Yeah, baby, you deserve it. You really should see about that. You know, one thing lead to another. Battery in his back. Now he kicking down the door where it's at. But it ain't there. His partner gave him the most he can give him. This man's sick with emotion. He ain't trying to hear that. Bow. He locked up. His homie dead. The woman, she out here on to the next best thing, bro. Typical hood-ish. Proverbs 4, verse 23. Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it will flow the springs of life. So you can keep the laws, commandments all you want to, yeah. But truly what's brewing on the inside is way more deadlier than any sin that you can commit. And that's the difference between sin and iniquity. Sin is the outward transgression of the law. And, we sin in ignorance. Yah has forgiven the times of ignorance. But iniquity is something that builds within. And you know very well. And both men and women have this issue. They dress the part, pray the part, play the music, quote the verses. But inwardly, we having something that's very unholy within them. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 11. Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. See, now when you speak with some women, they gonna make a snap decision typically. So much that they may want you to make a snap decision, which you should not do. Because see, the devil wants you to go ahead and do that. Hurry up and sign. You are told as a man to consider both matters, to consider both sides. You are told as a man to consult the Lord first. Consult your father in all things. Women say, are you gonna hurry up and marry me? Look, sweetheart, my father ain't let me know what time it is. You gonna have to wait. A lot of these men give into that because they don't have a man. They were not raised with a man to instill these principalities within themselves. They came up with a woman who was very impulsive. The woman says, we're moving here. And that don't work out. And the woman says, we're going back. Oh, but I got a new spot across town, so we're gonna go here too. You know that has detrimental effects on young developing kids. And then some of these women wonder why these children get older and reject all that the woman has said, even the good and the truth. The truth being that he had died for your sins. The truth being that he wants you now to lead a life that is obedient to him. But they've thrown out the baby with the bathwater because they've seen the inconsistencies, the going to and fro. And they don't want that. So you chase them away from the truth. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 29. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. You know how many women I run into that are proud of the fact that they are Tauruses and are bullheaded and stubborn and are brawlers, and you don't want to get me started. I'll take on everybody in this room. See, but that's a foolish woman. You don't want to be a foolish man, bro. Because the only thing for you is certain death. And ain't no coming back from that. And understand this. I am not saying that if a woman says something to you that is insightful, that shouldn't rile you up. That's inhuman. You're going to feel what you feel. Just don't act from that. Take a minute or a second just to think for a minute, bro. Just think. Crimes of passion started because women were spazzing out. They were spazzing out. They weren't just busting out windows. They was chopping up things and chopping off things in the act of. It then later got applied in this land to man because, again, us men are being raised by a lot of the women, and so we adopt their traits, so we can kind of fall up under that umbrella's crime of passion, but it really shouldn't be though, bro. Now again, you should not provoke a man to anger, because if you do, man, the lion gonna roar. But it's never to be so. This is not a thing that we should be proud of. And in the streets, especially in most urban settings, what we think is masculine is completely far off from that, dog. When you deal with a woman, you have to understand that she is somewhat like a child. I say this all the time, and someone may get offended, but I don't care. The most masculine thing that you can do is be logical, bro. It's not about how many guns you got or how many dudes you done punched out. It is ruling from a place of logic and sensibility, from all the senses that was given to you by your father. That's the most masculine thing that you can do and be. That's why I can never liken myself to Samson. Samson was a simp, and the thing about him is that he had both his mama and his daddy. They both tried to tell him, look, we'll pick out a good girl, a decent girl from our tribe, our village. Samson ain't want that. Samson wanted to be in love. The first one ain't work out. I think she got burnt up, and then here comes Delilah, and he still wants to be in love. There's a lot of men, for whatever reason, you hate yourself so much to the fact that you just need to be in love. No matter what she does not bring, no matter what she takes from you, you take it. Now understand this here, if you got a woman who has had her mind renewed and her spirit renewed, she needs both, then this does not apply to you. As a matter of fact, a good deal of what I talk about in this series may not apply to you. But in my experience, most women have an easier time getting a renewed spirit than they have a renewed mind. Their mind is still very polluted, convoluted. It's very dirty. The way they still receive information is just the way they did when they were in the world. The way they interpret acts of love is the way that they were in the world. Today, you have a lot of men who still run to their mama all the time to get validation, to get approval, to get advice. You gotta stop talking to your mama so much, bro. If you do that, you're probably a simp. Because understand that woman, though she's your mom, she was a woman first. She can only give you what's in her feelings to give you. So if you out here dealing with a Jezebel of a woman, if you out here dealing with a succubus of a woman who got the spirit of Lilith running all through her, and you take her and you go ask your mama like, what should I do? She's doing da-da-da-da-da. All your mom can do and give you is what's in her feelings to give. What if your mama at some point in her time was one of those kind of women? What do you think kind of advice she's going to give you? You go and ask your mama about a woman who keeps disobeying and she won't listen to nothing. But your mama was that in her day and age. She gonna give you the advice that's tailored for the benefit of that woman because she has more in common with that woman. The first thing is because they're both women. In reality, you need to go consult your father, bro. Pick the phone and go call your daddy. The issue is a lot of you guys don't have that option. But you do have a heavenly father and you do have this series. So when you stay out of your feelings, a woman cannot make you feel bad. She cannot make you feel good. She doesn't have that kind of power. So what she will then try to do is drag you into the arena of emotionalism. And she'll do this by saying the most disrespectful, the most insightful, the most untrue, the most flabbergasting thing that you can think of. She doesn't care about hurting your feelings. She does not care about what it destroys. She doesn't even care who hears her say this. Your kids, her kids, you guys as kids, co-workers, bosses, potential clients, it does not matter. She needs you to enter into the arena where she's dominant in. That is the world of emotionalism. In the same way that an alligator needs to drag its prey into the water in order to perform the death roll. It doesn't really work the same way on the land. On solid ground. Pillars, things that you can stand firm on. It needs to be in the water where goalposts can be moved. Where you may find yourself as the roaring, conquering lion, now at a great, great disadvantage. Stay out of that battlefield, bro. And you can do that by staying out of your feelings. She, like a child, when she's angry, will disregard any right ruling she's let come out of her mouth. You can't get away with that though, because you're alpha. And that's what makes y'all different. That's why she cannot be you. And that's why she will forever need you. This is why you're the catch. This is why you're the prize. She cannot do what you can do. And she needs that. Some of you men got women who say, oh, you're such a great man. I've been waiting all my life for you. And if you in your feelings, it's like, oh yeah, it's going to stroke your ego. It's going to make you feel good. Until you actually step back and think, okay, if this woman been waiting all her life for me, why she got 15 plus men in between then and now? Why she got X amount of kids if she been waiting for me? Ain't no woman out here waiting on you, bro. Stop allowing them to make you feel good. Because if they can make you feel good, they can make you feel bad. You should exercise that authority over her. She's the weaker vessel, not you. You didn't come out of the womb of a man. She came out of the womb of a man, hence the term woman. And we don't care how this makes her feel, bro. Again, stay out your feelings. And hers too. A lot of you men do things because it's gonna make her feel good. I don't wanna make her feel bad. Man, the hell with that. You cannot lead from that place or that space. I don't care what she look like in your face. These are the same women who tell these men, oh, you're the one for me, when they done had about 28 men before you. Let me tell you something, homie. You ain't the one. You ain't the second. You ain't the third. You ain't the fourth. Like Yahshua told that woman at the well. You had X amount of husbands, and then the one you claiming as husband ain't even your husband. Come on, bro. And I'm not telling you men this to be disgruntled like these red pill men are. I'm giving you this so that realistically, logically, you can really discern how to deal with today's woman. Again, she may try to liken herself to the women of the Bible. I had a woman tell me recently, well, but pretty much imply that she's God's gift to me because he who findeth the wife findeth a good thing. Yeah, that's true, sweetheart, but when that verse was written, the quality of women were a lot better. You don't classify for those women. You're not even as good as Jezebel, because as wicked as Jezebel was, she was not a whore. Jezebel only had one husband. A simp of a husband, nonetheless, but one husband. You can't say that. These women don't even have one baby daddy. Please do not quote nothing from our Father's word about what a woman is supposed to be, because you're not that. And until you are that, you should not be quoting it back to me or any man. And like I told you men in the earlier series, is that it's easier for us to be men of the scripture than it is for women today to be that of the scripture. Not impossible, just very easy for us. When we shake off the Babylon, when we find out who we are, and the name and the image and the likeness of the Most High, when we have been re-engrafted in the name of Yahshua, and we start moving with our purpose on purpose, come on, cuz. Yeah, there are some things that we may have lost that we can get back. Maybe we spent X amount of years in Babylon. Maybe we spent X amount of years in prison or the penal system or whatever the case may be. But that woman's going to have a harder time trying to line herself up with even the lowliest women in the Bible. She couldn't even be Hagar. Hagar was never called a wife. Hagar was called a maidservant. She still was getting hit off by Abraham, but she was a maidservant belonging to a woman. And these women today couldn't even be Hagar because Hagar left and by the angel was told to humble yourself and go back. And today's women, most of them don't want to be humbled and they can't. So again, men, please assert your God-given dominance. It may make the woman feel like that's misogynistic. It may make her feel like that's chauvinistic. It may make her feel like it's egotistical. And you know what? We don't care. How she feels about a particular situation will not rule the nation. Stay out your feelings. Stay in the word. Stay in the gym. Stay in your bag. But stay out your feelings, cuz. Love y'all, brothers. Take it easy.
Up with the stick, yeah. She said she wanna be up on my team, but she can't love me, yeah. Really, she don't wanna